Holy hell, the WNBA season starts in 3 weeks. Or close enough anyway. I've been so preoccupied with hockey coming to a close, baseball just starting, and wrestling, which is year round, that I just didn't realize how close we were to the WNBA's 26th season and my 13th as a fan. Now, I've made a few WNBA videos here before. Whether it'll be the primary subject on this channel, I don't know yet. But there doesn't seem to be much content on YouTube about the league that's, positive. All I know is the league's channel itself, the team's channels, and Sever the Bond, who I highly recommend subscribing to if you aren't already, especially if you're a fan of the Atlanta Dream and or the Brooklyn Nets. So without much positivity on the league on this platform, maybe I can help change that, even if only by a little, but every little bit helps now, doesn't it? Now, with me not being a total fanatic of the game, at least not since the 90s anyway, and only a casual observer since then, a lot of people are surprised to know that I am such a big fan of the WNBA. I mean, it's not necessarily my top 5 favorite sports, and the league itself isn't particularly popular outside of their own 12 markets, and even then, sometimes they barely scratch the surface. And I've lived in 2 markets with no WNBA presence ever. So, how did I become a WNBA fan, and why Atlanta? Why? Here's why. Take it back to the spring of 2009. I was a textbook definition of a late bloomer. I was a year removed from graduating high school, not really a whole lot going on, no idea what the hell I'm going to do with my life. I think I'm depressed, but I have no idea how to go about doing something about it or dealing with it, or even if I had a problem to begin with. As far as I was concerned, I'd better get to blooming pretty damn soon. So, I was reading Sports Illustrated like I do, one of the few things that kept me not depressed, and I read everything, even if I wasn't particularly interested in the sport. Well, one week they ran a season preview of the WNBA, which was a double feature bundled in with a feature on Shamika Holtzclaw, who was coming back from an almost 2-year-long hiatus. She'd been struggling with severe depression to the point where playing the game she loved just wasn't enough to keep her going anymore. And I knew all too well what it was like to no longer get any enjoyment out of things that at one point you just couldn't get enough of. I still struggle with it to this day. Some days I kind of feel like I'm forcing myself to enjoy myself, and honestly, that just makes it even worse. That's what she was dealing with at the time. She had a nervous breakdown in around 2004, and fortunately her team, I think it was the Washington Mystics at the time, they helped her get some much-needed treatment, but then a few years later, things took a pretty bad turn when she tried to kill herself. I've never been, suicidal myself, but I sympathize with just about everything else and related to so damn much of it. And at that point, I had never heard a professional athlete talk about mental health that much. It was actually kind of refreshing to see. And it pretty much made me a fan of her overnight, really. I wanted to see her succeed. I wanted her comeback to succeed, whoever the hell she played for. Turns out that she got traded to Atlanta during her hiatus, which was a second-year expansion team coming off of a whopping 4-win season and in serious need of a strong veteran presence for their newly drafted Angel McCautry and the rest of the retooled Dream. I pretty much became an Atlanta Dream fan overnight. So WNBA League Pass worked a little bit differently in 2009 than it does now. It was called Live Access, and longtime fans will know exactly what I'm talking about. It showed most games, and it was 100% free. Like, it was legit free. One of the few free video-on-demand services I'd ever seen at that point. Which was absolutely perfect, because otherwise I would only be able to see like 1 or 2 national broadcasts every single week, and Atlanta was rarely ever a part of that, especially considering their first season. So for the first few years of being a fan, I was pretty much set. And holy crap, did I pick a great time to be a WNBA fan, especially the Atlanta Dream. I mean, their core of Holtzclaw and McCautry, Izane Castro-Marquez, Ivory Lotta, Sancho Little, they were just absolutely electrifying and just a joy to watch. especially especially when they got joined by Shoni Schimmel, an all-star as a rookie and not even as a starter. The first rookie to win MVP of the All-Star game and one of the few players who I'd ever seen shut down Brittany Griner so damn well. She was just something else, and I'm so sorry that her time in the league was so short. People like Shoni Schimmel, Yelena Luchanka, another one who was gone from the league too soon. And those 3 trips to the WNBA finals in 4 years, I know they got swept all 4 years, but it was still just an absolute blast to watch. Now, what's happened since then, which is not much, well, we know only too well. In fact, that was actually the subject of my previous WNBA video. But despite everything that's happened, I'm still a fan. I'm still here. I grew up watching the St. Louis Rams in their dying years. Okay, so I know what it's like to support a dying team. I'm still there. I'm still always ready to support them no matter what, and it's because of Shamika Holtzclaw and her openness with her mental health struggles. Of course, I was pretty upset when she wasn't re-signed and went to San Antonio to finish out her career, but hey, I couldn't blame her. She was doing what was best for her, which was infinitely more important. And she'd already had a hell of a career at that point anyway. She played under Pat Summitt and won those 3 consecutive NCAA titles with Tennessee. She won a gold medal at the World Championships with Team USA and played in 6 WNBA All-Star games. And she became someone who people with mental health struggles can, kind of look up to and relate to. Like me. I'm a fan for life, and she is exactly why. She was gone after only 1 season, and I still paid attention to what she was doing in San Antonio, but I kept following the dream. And even in the aftermath of their greatest era that they'll probably ever have, I'm just way too attached and way too invested to put my loyalties anywhere else after 13 years of being a fan. As much as I've gotten really familiar with the rest of the league, the rest of the players, and how much I just adore them, Atlanta is my team, and they always will be. Well, pending an expansion into St. Louis, that is. This time around, the Dream are going to look pretty damn different. Kind of like how they were in 2009, but not. Maybe they do well. Maybe they don't. But regardless, I'll be there every step in the way, and now you'll know exactly why. I hope you all have a good day, enjoy the season, and subscribe to Sever the Bond.